can Hello, guys. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing great. My name is Leticia Campbell, and I'm one of the co-hosts of this amazing talk show we call Sister to Sister Connection. I co-host this show alongside my amazing co-host, Twonta Davis Jones. But before I get moving any further, let me check my show producer, Miss Therese. Therese, let me know in the chat here real quickly. Let me know if my sound is good. There's not a lot of background noise because I know we were having mic issues earlier. So just let me know that everything is good. Thumbs up if we're good to go, so we can get started with this awesome and amazing topic. And if you're watching this on the replay right now, do me a quick favor and go ahead and type in hashtag replay. I'm gonna go ahead and share this broadcast out. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me check, y'all. Shout out to StreamYard. Y'all have changed y'all little dashboard here. So I was waiting for the chat to show up in a different spot, but I just checked. It's more lower this time. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get this jump started. Huge thank you to Twonta. Last week I couldn't make last week's show. I'm truly apologize, guys. I had a meeting. Hey, Twonta, that ran over. And so I'm glad to be back on today to this particular topic because it's really, really good. Really, really good. How you doing, Twonta?
Girl, I had to put my head back on because I lost track of time.
Yes.
I was cleaning, I was vacuuming and cleaning, and then I was talking to my daughter and one of her best friends.
Oh, wow.
And I just lost track of time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, it's time? I'm like, oh,
yes.
God, okay.
That happens. Like when we're in the moment of our day-to-day, yeah, we definitely lose track of time. Definitely track time. So let me know if my sound good, because I was having mic issues earlier. Okay, great. So I was just telling everybody that, I apologize for not making it on last week. But I'm super excited about this week's topic. So again, those of you who are logging on, go ahead and type in hashtag live. Those of you who are watching the replay, go ahead and type in hashtag replay. We're going to jump right into this conversation because we don't want to keep y'all waiting. Miss Twonta over there, you need one of those remote fans.
You need one of those I need to go buy one.
Yes.
I need to buy like 5 of them.
5 of those remote fans.
In my car, in my purse.
Everywhere. Yes. So go ahead, Twonta, and share what tonight's topic is about.
So tonight's topic is a very good one, I think. Not saying because I did it, but it's just something that I think we as women definitely need to talk about and understand the value of the cost that we put forth. So it's about the values of life is costly. Everything that we do in life is going to cost you. There's going to be some sacrifices. There's going to be some regrets, of course, but you have to understand that everything that you put forth, you're going to reap that. You're going to reap it. And we definitely need to be more accountable. And we definitely need to be more accessible of learning. Right. So we're going to talk about, we have a few points that we're going to share with you tonight. Each point, I think, is going to be very conversational. That's a word. We're going to really talk in depth, in other words, for each of these points. We only have 3 tonight, so that's good enough. But I think, once we really get in this conversation, maybe we might do a part 2 in the future. We never know. But in the meantime, we're going to just go ahead and talk about this now, because we're now entering spring. So we're like in the latter, I would quote unquote, I would not want to say the latter. That's not true. We're like in the second quarter. I don't know. Am I right? Like in the second quarter of this year, if that makes sense.
We are ending the first quarter. Ends on March 31st, and then April 1st starts the second quarter.
So at the second quarter, right?
Yeah. So this year is going pretty fast. It's going pretty.
It is going pretty fast. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's get to our first point tonight, ladies. So our first point is about your priorities has to make sense. Ooh. Your priorities, ladies, you got to know what you're doing. You have to have that foundation to make sure that if this is what you need to do, then here's the thing. Once you know, it won't become so complicated. Once you have already educated yourself, you will know how to guide yourself through these priorities. Yeah, you're going to have those bumps, every now and then, but at least you would know how to override those bumps. It won't put a snag in your momentum. It won't have you to have you to back away from it, and then next thing you know, it's like 6 months later, right? No, you need to know exactly what's the point, what's your point of these priorities. What is the pros and cons of these priorities? What are the benefits from these priorities? It could be anything. It could be just redefining yourself as a woman. Because listen, we wear different hats, okay? We are wife, we are mom, right? We are a woman, period. But all three of these areas, and I know there's more, but all three of those areas, it pulls a lot from us. Our kids needs us. They don't need us in the wife formation. They need us in a mother perspective versus a wife. The husband needs the wife versus not the mother. You know what I'm saying? And you have to position these priorities in your life. Your faith is number one, right? And then your family, and then your career. These are the top three priorities that you definitely have to put in the right order in order for you to see any type of results in your life, right? Your faith, family, and career. That's a full circle kind of situation. And then you may have something else beyond after that third priority. But again, each of those priorities, you have to give it equal amount of time. You have to understand the purpose of those priorities, how important it is to put in, the work, the commitment, the dedication to it, right? Because you're going to learn in each of those priorities. Each of those priorities all about growth. All those priorities about growth, because you're going to learn something about your faith. You're going to learn a whole lot about your Lord and Savior. You're going to learn a lot about yourself when it comes to your spouse, your marriage, when it comes to your family, your life, because you're not going to be the same person you were when you said I do. You're not going to be the same person when you have your first child. You're going to be a whole different woman, and now you have to start to re-strategize your whole mindset and how you're going to live now, how you're going to really give more to your spouse, to your child, right? And then it comes to your career. That also requires a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication, what you are willing to put out there and what you are willing to protect. Because when you're working outside in the career form, and I know Leticia's going to talk more in depth on that, you got to understand you are pulling yourself out to everybody that supports what you do and those who don't. Okay, come on with it, right? So you got to make sure that when you put these priorities in order, they have to make sense to you. So it won't cause conflict. It won't cause strife. It won't cause headaches. It won't cause heartache. Because I could tell you right now, with this generation today, the younger generation, some of their priorities are so out of order. They're all about, making it big real quick in a social media platform. They're all about making that money. They're all about those likes. They're all about those clickbacks. They're all about TikTok. They're all about all this stuff. They want to get themselves out there in the public realm so they can, be popular, be on all these other different places. And then everything else will fall behind that. And their priorities are so out of order. It really, really is. And so, we have to really really take that time out and just say, okay, where am I in my life? Where's my career? Am I putting my career before my family, my marriage? Am I putting my faith on the bottom? Like when I get really conflicted in my situation, that's when I go pull up the Lord and say, Lord, I need your help right now because I don't know what to do in this situation, and then you go right back to your number one priority, which would be your career, or what will be your kids, or what have you. So you need to understand, ladies, that you got to know where your priorities are. What are your priorities? That's the question. Sometimes we don't even know what our priorities are. And that's kind of crazy because you just running around without having no type of foundation, to keep you focused, right? So yeah, we definitely need to understand what our priorities are, and we need to get better understanding and knowledge of these situations, of these priorities, right? And this is all about growth and development for every one of those priorities I just mentioned, because you're always going to learn, you're always going to grow, you're always going to develop in some form of fashion. Go ahead, Tisha.
Absolutely. I love how when it comes to making your priorities make sense, do they make
Mm-hmm.
sense to you? Are they actually
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah.
It's I
Yeah.
had to shift out, it's been the past what 7, 8 months now since I restructured my priorities mentally. And it's quite
Mm.
interesting because today I have a group chat on here on Facebook called early risers, and I wrote down like the 5 priorities that we should all focus on for this week, because this is the foundation, right? And I
Okay.
said y'all can put it in any particular order. So the first one I put was number one, you got to drink water. I know, and
Mm.
these are things that I said I need to do more of. So I say, listen, every day I got to
Okay.
make sure I have a water app, and it tells me how much water I'm supposed to drink according to my weight. So I need to
Right.
get on top of me drinking water, right? The second thing
Right.
I wrote was move more. Do some exercise, even if it's for 10 minutes, even if you're doing 20 squats or push-ups or running in place or whatever. We got to move
Okay.
around more. We got to get our joints moving, right?
Right.
Having some quiet time. I know for me with
Yeah.
5 kids is I'm not going to say it's hard to do. I just got to make it a priority to do, right? Because it makes
Yeah.
sense for me to do
Hmm.
it, to have that quiet time, with going back to waking up much more earlier today, so I can have that
Yeah.
alone time with God and with myself and what have you. Just get my day
Sure.
in order, right? Before the
Right. Right. Right.
kids,
Right.
before my day gets going. The fourth thing I wrote was feed my spirit more. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Reading the
that's
word of
good.
God. Read the word of God. Feed them, because there's so many. There's a couple of entities in my personal life that you're always going to have somebody or something in your life that's causing all this chaos.
Yeah.
That's just
That's
part of
true.
our world. If you don't have individuals in your life, guys, that's causing you chaos, then God, pray, because it's probably going to come. I'm not wishing anything on
Hmm.
anybody, but just pray to God that he puts on the armor. But when you're feeding your spirit more, when you're saying, okay, this person said this, but God says that. This
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
feels this way about what I'm doing, but God feels this way about what I'm
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah.
So feeding that
Yeah.
spirit is so important, okay?
Yeah.
Because people will change and flip on you. I've just
Yes, you will,
experienced it
girl.
recently. They'll say one thing, but their actions is not aligned with what they're saying, right? And
Yep.
you got to really
Yep.
look out for people like that who actually are line with what they said. Now, and number 5 is stay connected. Staying
Yeah.
connected through intentional prayer. So going back to number four is to feed your spirit by reading the Bible, listening to affirmations and all the things. And number 5 is staying connected by praying. So
Yeah.
those 5 things are like foundations. Your priorities need to make sense. They have to be what is your daily foundation, right? That you're going to
Absolutely.
move off of, that you're going to feed off of, that you're going to allow to operate your tone throughout the day. So no matter what happens, a person can send you a text that you're like, wait, what's so wrong with what's going on? I mean, you're just
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm fine. Because
Yeah.
I said this in my post today. The enemy don't understand when you have people who are working against you, right?
Hmm.
All they're
Hmm.
doing is what God has positioned them to do, right? And you got to
Yeah.
still tell yourself that good or bad, you got to thank God for that. You know what I'm saying? You got to thank God. But as long as you have your foundational priorities in place and they make sense, right? They're
Yeah.
not drastic. Like when I say y'all move around, I'm not telling you to jump on a treadmill and go 100 miles an hour, because then you're going to hurt yourself. But 10 miles, maybe 5, whatever is going to keep up with your speed, and you can accelerate from there. Mhm.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
real good. Yeah, it's important to have those daily priorities, that'll help you, to have better clarity,
right.
better clarity
Mhm.
on your position and where you are in your life, professionally and personally. It's important to feed your soul, feed your spirit daily. because you don't know what you're going to face with, within the next 24 hours or even the next hour for that matter. You just don't know. You think everything is fine at that moment, but then you may get a phone call, you may get a text, you know what I'm saying, and or a mail or something that just may shift everything in your life, and you just got to be prepared. You have to prepare yourself and be able to have that clarity to handle, that situation. So it is important, ladies, to really, get your priorities in order and make sure you understand the pros and cons of that. And that, you won't, feel like you're at the very bottom in your life. You feel like everything is just going all over the place, because your foundation is just not level, but it takes time, but you can do it. So let's move to our second point, ladies. Our second point for tonight is don't cheat yourself into believing that you know everything. Please don't do that, because you are playing yourself as a sucker. I'm just
I had
keeping on
this
the board.
conversation with my daughter the other day.
Did you?
Yes.
Go ahead, talk on it, girl. Go on, talk on it.
It's so interesting because my oldest daughter, she's 14, and I'm reliving what my mom had to deal with. Yeah, that's my twin, honey. For sure.
Girl.
I'm reliving what my mom had to put up with me being when I was 14, thinking I knew everything about the world, and so my daughter sometimes act the same way as well. We all are trying to reach a level of maturity, right? No matter if you're 14 or 42, like myself, you know what I mean? Where you always want to seek more wisdom, right? No one in this world is more knowledgeable than you're not more knowledgeable than some people, right? We got to realize that. And so, the person, I'm 42 now, but the values and the mindset, the goals that I had when I was 32 is way different now. Like I never thought that currently I'll be, going through what I'm going through now, but it is what it is. But you got to understand that seeking wisdom is so important. You know what I mean? Like, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. I know everybody has heard that before, but it's the truth. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. You never want to think that you know everything. And there's some times where, and I realize this about myself, that when I get to a moment where I'm like, okay, enough is enough, and I don't know no way out, I get into that isolation, right? And sometimes we think that that's a safe place to be. But again, we are cheating ourselves, out of seeking more wisdom. Right. There's always something more that we can learn each and every day. So looking at my daughter who's 14 years old, and I'm like, girl, you don't know everything. You got this whole big world outside of your little brother and sister bubble.
That's right.
And you got to understand that. Don't assume that you know everything about this particular subject or this particular scenario.
Right.
And because our children are so connected to the internet, they think even more that they know everything, because it's like all they got to do is type something in their phone and bam, it comes up for them. But because they're getting so much information, right? We as parents, as mothers, have to learn how to get them to digest that information in the correct way. But going back to ourselves, right? It's that knowing of the fact that I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I am excited about it, right? And I'm not going to believe that who I am now is going to be who I am and going to be when I'm 52. So I don't want to cheat myself out like, oh my God, I'm going through all these situations right now. So life is over. I'm not going to, do this or that. No, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to cheat myself. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to get support. I'm going to do all those things. And sometimes we don't want to learn nothing new because we are insecure sometimes. Right. Or our beliefs, it says this, don't cheat yourself into believing. Our beliefs, we got to change that too. That we can't know enough, or this is just how it is culturally, or how it's societal norms. I mean, we don't know where the world is going, especially here in the US. But don't cheat yourself out of knowledge and expertise, or even getting new ideas, even if you culturally have been against that or taught not to do things that certain way. There's always new ways.
There's
going back
to
to the way this new generation, I know we discussed this earlier, how
Mhm.
a lot of women, especially women of color, are getting married much later in life. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way
Mhm.
things are.
That's just the way things are.
Just
Yeah.
the way things are. So yeah. Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, my youngest daughter was like that too, once upon a time. Naya was one of those girls that just was adamant about, well, I know. When you talk to your kids and you try to tell her something like, I know, mom, I know. Girl, you just want like,
I'm like,
yeah,
girl, listen to me first. And
girl,
we can't like, I know back in the day I would have got popped in the mouth. If my
come
brother's
on.
watching, he would tell you. But as a mom of young kids, I forgot what's the name of their generation. I try to listen and just be like, okay, let me
Yeah.
listen, understand, right? And
Hmm.
talk them through and say, listen, you don't see it that way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's how she was, and then she would have to learn the hard way.
Right.
She would have
Right.
to learn the hard way, especially at the time when my oldest daughter, Stephanie, was, working.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest daughter, wanted to work too because she saw her sister was making money and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that and
Yeah.
everything. And so
Yeah.
she just took it upon herself to like, well, it's okay, it's no big deal. I can work, make my money, and da 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 da. Da. And Stephanie's like, that's not how it works, you gotta save your money, you gotta
It's not
budget.
that easy.
It's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
And now, she's older now, so she kind of gets it. She understands now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Money, it comes, but it goes real quick, especially when you have other, responsibilities,
Mm-hmm.
college, tuition,
Mm-hmm.
all these other things going on. So but us older folks, we in that same situation
We
too. We act
are.
everything, and that is so far from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We know based on what we experienced in
That's
life.
what I was just about to say. Exposure. We got to
Yeah,
expose ourselves to more things. I think we get stuck in this belief system that we do know everything because we haven't exposed ourselves.
right.
Especially, I've traveled outside the US, and this is, the societal norms outside the US is way different from here in the US.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
financial literacy, I'm more exposed to that now,
yes,
and I thought and assumed certain things are the way they are, how the banking system works, how the financial system works. But once I got exposed to it, I realized like I only knew 1%
yeah,
of the knowledge of the financial literacy and stuff. So we got
yeah,
to expose ourselves to more and more stuff, because then our
yeah,
beliefs are more broader instead of so narrow into thinking, well, no, this is the way it is, or that's the way it is.
right.
We live in such a political world right now where
Mm-hmm.
if you voted for a certain person, or if you don't stand for this, it's like you're sort of judged and things like that. It's just we're around more people who are just so close-minded, because like you said, with
Mm-hmm.
children, with adults, with social media, everything is so surface level. What car you
Mm-hmm.
driving, what type of house you have, what's
Yeah.
all these things, the material stuff. And that's our link sometimes to happiness for
Mm-hmm.
certain people. Instead of peace of mind and saying, how can I just experience life and
Yeah.
experience alongside other people and get to learn their knowledge and their expertise and things like that. Always be a student of the world. That's what I say. Always be a
That's
student of the world.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's important for us to always be open to learning.
Yeah.
It's just important to do that. I know for me, I've always been saying that I want to go back to teaching,
Yeah.
and I haven't really educated kids yet. That's
Yeah.
something I've always wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I have, knowledge
Right.
based from going to college and grad school,
Right.
but you know how
Right.
long that's been? That's like
Yeah.
over 30 years ago,
Yeah.
so that information, yeah, it may be helpful now,
Yeah.
but we're in a whole different generation now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So that means that I will have to get educated again,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and not just take what I had learned 30 plus years ago and think that that's going to be
Yeah. Enough.
enough,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not. It'll help,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to understand the mindset is different,
Yeah.
technology is
Mm-hmm.
different. you got to learn not just from the books, but you got to learn life. You got to
Life,
learn
yeah.
people's
But
personality.
don't let that stop you from wanting to, like, I
Exactly.
have
Yeah.
a business partner in the financial literacy part of my business that she took her financial literacy license like 30 years ago. So now she has to redo it again because 30 years ago versus today's like woo eons away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't let that stop you guys. Just
Absolutely.
learn this, because either way you will still have to learn it regardless of the fact. Even if you were up to date, you still got to every year refresh, sharpen your iron, because I like it's like a knife gets dull after a certain period of
Yeah.
time of uses. You got to sharpen it up again.
You got to
Yeah.
sharpen it up. Exactly. Yeah. There's a lady I saw on Facebook. I don't know if you had came across it, Tisha, but this was a lady that actually became a registered nurse at the age, I think in her 70s,
Mm-hmm.
76, or maybe if not 86. I want to, she's older. I definitely,
Yeah.
she's like a
Yeah.
decade older than me, but this has been a long time dream of hers.
Right.
I didn't read her whole story, but what I saw was that, she never gave up on her dreams. She kept going and she
Mm-hmm.
pursued. She went to school and now
Mm-hmm.
she is certified, registered
Mm-hmm.
nurse
Mm-hmm.
at that stage of her life.
But
And that was so inspiring for
it's an
me.
accomplishment. You know why?
Yes,
When you're 20, when you're in 20s and 30s and even 40s, you really don't know what you want to do. It's
right,
like you sort
right.
of just trying things out like a pair of shoes. You see what's the right fit,
Yes,
and at 70, 60s, 70s, 80s, you really know what you want to do.
right.
And that's why I tell even my clients that I don't care how old you are,
Hmm.
success is not some like a purse, it could basically be whatever it is that you want to do.
Hmm.
When I was in my 20s, I thought that, I wanted to do something, and then 30s, I had another career idea, and now, 40, now I'm a full-time entrepreneur, full-time mom, all the things. You
Yeah.
never kn- you know you're so young at 20, 30s, and 40s. So 70s, 80s, the 60s, you know what you want to do. And when you look
Mhm.
at other very,
Yeah.
very extremely successful business owners, they didn't reach that level of success until they were in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Look it up.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And because
Mhm.
that's when they knew that, hey, this is what I really want to do. You tried out different things, you tested different things, all the things, and now you reached a point to say,
Mhm.
okay, this is what I want
Mhm.
to do. 60s and 70s is
Yeah.
still very young. People are actually living much longer now. And trust me, I know I'm in the financial industry. You look at life insurance and death benefits and IULs, people are they even like when you do an illustration, they putting it all the way out to 120, because people are living
Wow.
longer now because of all the medical, the way the medical field is going. People are like, for me, I don't eat meat anymore. Only thing I eat is seafood. I don't eat chicken, pork, none of that, beef. you know they getting, a lot of people are becoming vegan, pescatarians, all these things, so they are
Mhm.
living much, much, much more longer. So
Mhm.
when you think of 70, when you're in when you're your 90s, you're like, hell. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You think you were younger when you're 70. So
Mhm.
guys,
Mhm.
don't take your age for granted. I think we do that
Yeah.
sometimes, where we
We
say,
do.
because I'm
We
this
do.
age, I can't start over, I can't reset, or I can't pick
Yeah.
up where I left off. Don't
Yep.
do that. Don't do
Yep.
that.
You're
Mm-mm.
right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. That I think that was a major problem back in the day
Yeah.
for a lot of women, that they dedicated their life into marriage, into motherhood and whatnot. And they were working for a short time, but then
Yeah.
life happened and stuff. And they, committed their life to taking care of their family. And now that their
That's right.
family are a grown family, that they empty nesters as well. Now they're
Right.
trying to rediscover themselves. And it's really
Yeah.
hard for women to really start over.
Yeah.
They don't know where to begin,
Right.
but they can,
Yeah.
and so, it's just important for us to really receive the
Mhm.
blessings of people
Yeah.
that has been there where you are going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They can, they just recently retired, or they just
Yeah.
recently decided, I'm just gonna, just take a time off. But
Yeah.
they are full of knowledge. It can help
Yeah.
you out
Yeah.
as you're entering into this season at that stage of your life.
Yeah, there's a lot of women in their 40s who are getting divorced. But I always
Yes.
say, start with what you're passionate about, what your
Yes.
passion is, and get around other people who are high value people. They may not have the same passion as yours, but they're working towards something, and that's going to keep you on top of your game. Change your circle. There's so many Facebook groups out there. There's so many local communities out there. People outside more. There's so many resources, and that's what keeps me level headed, to be honest. My
Yes.
circle is tight. My circle, the circle of people, yourself, Therese, and I mean so many other people, man. Listen, if I didn't have the support system I have right now, I wouldn't be showing up tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so appreciative of my circle, because at the end of the day, the enemy is always going to attack us. We're Black women, we're women who show up and help other people get a breakthrough. So at the end of the day, if you got to have a tight circle, I'm telling you, a good circle that's positive, that holds you accountable and all the things. And I'm telling you, it's going to get you to that level where you're like, yeah, I have true fulfillment. One of the things that we call it the for the 5 fulfillment, where is the 5 F's: faith, family, fun, fitness, and finance. You know what I'm saying? So those are good values to have as well when you think of priorities.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So let's move to our third point. Our last point for tonight. Our third point for tonight.
Yes.
You will reap what you invested
That's
in.
right. 100%. 100%. We all grew up in the church. We talked about tithing. I know you know about this, right? And when you think about tithing, is you saying, God, I'm thankful for what you've given me. I don't deserve what you've given me. So let me, not give back, but give you your portion,
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when you are investing in life and when you are investing in business. You know what I'm saying? And when you put that word invest, right, in caps, that word investment can be hard.
Yes.
I mean, investment doesn't have to always be financial. It could be your time, right? It could be your attention, right? Like I'm investing in making sure that every day I have a joyful day. So when somebody tries to get me upset, I breathe in for 15 seconds and I breathe out, and then breathe in and just give myself time to just invest in that happiness. Because I used to be, 8 months ago, I used to be such a reactive person, and working towards now to say, you know what, that's just the enemy. Let me just take a moment to breathe, and God's going to work out. And the enemy is just doing what the universe called him to do. I know I'm going to reap the reward. My children are going to reap the reward. My children even say, Mommy, I've never seen you this happy, ever. You know what I'm saying? Because it used to be all about them and everything. It's still all about them, but I'm also trying to focus on having my own personal joy. So you will reap what you invest. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be the next day, it may not even be next month.
Right.
But the more you keep putting in the investment of your finances, your time, your energy, your efforts into something that is going to serve you, serve God, and all the things, you will reap that. You will reap that. And it's going, our word for 2025, and those of you who are watching, put this in the chat, is sacrifice. That's an investment. When you say, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice this so I can get to a better place in my business, or get to a better place in my life, or get to a better place in my health and wellness journey, or get to a better place in my finances, putting the money aside, or making sure, so that way you can reap later on down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're in the season of Lent. We're in the season of what is it? The resurrection season, all the things. And God, Jesus had to go through a lot of suffering, to be resurrected, and that comes with it too. Sometimes we don't invest because we know that, hey, let me tell you something. God will answer your prayer, y'all. But for some of y'all, I'm only saying this because I've experienced it right now. You got to go through the jungle first. Like, we want that big blessing. We want that new transition life. But God said, yeah, I understand that you're going to get all that. But you're going to have to go through the jungle for a year or 2 years or whatnot. And you got to go through it. And sometimes he doesn't reveal to us what we're going to go through. Because if God revealed to me 8-9 months ago what I was going to be going through, I'd be like, nah, I'll just stay.
Yeah.
I'll just deal with this hard because I know if I, let me just, deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he didn't reveal it to me. I'm glad, he's still continuously answering my prayer, and I'm investing every day in my personal happiness, my joy, and all the things that I'm investing to myself and my kids. That's the main thing. And one of the
Yeah.
things I told myself last week, I was like meditating and stuff, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to defend or explain myself to anybody who's not my children, my
Mm-hmm.
clients, or my business
Mm-hmm.
partners. That's it.
There
Those
you
only people
go.
I'm going to explain stuff to. Anybody outside of that, it's a yes, no. I'm not sure. I'll get back to you with an answer. Because again, you're either investing in good or you're investing in bad.
Right.
You're either investing in worrying or you're investing in winning.
There you go.
Okay. You're
There
either
you go.
investing in fear or you're investing in moving forward. You choose.
Mm-hmm.
You're making an investment either way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to choose what you're going to invest in. Because if you're investing in worrying and being anxious, you're going to reap all that. You're going to
You
bring that
sure will.
energy towards you. But
You
if you
sure
say,
will.
you know what, I'm not going to respond to that, or I'm going to react in a way that is just going to be surface level,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now you're setting the temperature in your within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Same thing in your business. I don't care what anybody say. People say, "Oh, I invested this much in my business." Okay, you're going to continue to invest in your business. That's never going to stop. The more money
Right.
you're going to make, the more you're going to invest.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. You're going to have haters. I was on a call today, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody mentioned how if you see somebody out there that's doing some big things, they're making money, they're successful, you know that they
Mm-hmm.
got so much people hating on them at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's sad. You see
Yeah.
somebody winning, because my coach used to tell me years ago, Danya Whittingham, that success leaves clues. If I see you successful, Twonta, you're making millions of dollars, I'm going to try to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what was your roadmap. The
Mm-hmm.
success
Mm-hmm.
leaves clues. That means that I'm going to follow your direction so that I don't make a wrong turn or make a mistake. I'm not going to say, oh my God, oh, she thinks she this, she thinks she that.
Mm-hmm.
We're so
Mm-hmm.
quick to
Mm-hmm.
judge because we're,
Yeah.
we're, we're, we're operating out of lack, you
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
invest in also supporting other people. You see somebody winning on social media, guys, celebrate them, congratulate
Mm-hmm.
them. Say, girl,
Amen.
that's amazing. I'm so excited for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't look at
Mm-hmm.
them and just scroll past and like whatever that they're lucky. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
they're not.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
see the work behind the scenes, the level of investment that they had to put in mentally, physically, financially, spiritually.
Amen on that.
Okay, it take them a lot to get there. When I'm ready to tell my full story, people are going to be like, "What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow!"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's not. People say all the time, "Oh, Leticia, you just seem like you just do it. It's so easy for you." No, it's not. No, it's not. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Mm-mm.
And again, when people see that and they know that and they say, "Okay, I can do this. I got this."
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you invest, you got to be careful what you're investing in
yeah,
because you will reap that. And
yeah.
it's and not only you, but the people in your inner circle,
Yes,
they're
they
going to
are.
reap it too. You know, even though
Right.
they didn't invest it with you, they
Yep.
didn't partner with you,
They
but
connected
they
to
are
you.
part of you,
Yeah,
if you're going to invest chaos, then you're going to reap chaos. You're going to
that's right.
reap problems and calamity and all kinds of stuff. You're going to
Yep.
deal with, and your family members or whoever is in
That's
that
right.
circle
That's
going to
right.
suffer the consequences on that. So you got to really be smart and wise. That's why we go back to number one about the priority setting.
Yeah,
You have to understand the priorities that you are, leveling. You got to
yeah,
understand what the pros and cons of those things and
mhm.
how much time you're going to put in per priority
Yeah, yeah,
because you want those positions to you want to ride
yeah,
on those priorities. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You want to be
yeah,
at rest in those priorities that you put in, right? You don't want to lose.
yeah,
It's like you building a foundation, but by the time you get there, it's already crumbled. It's
yeah,
gone.
Yeah.
you know, because you did not understand the depth. You didn't exercise on how to strengthen that foundation. You didn't get the knowledge because
Yeah.
you thought you knew everything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And now here it is, everything's piled up. But then next thing you know, if somebody sneezes wrong, everything crumbles.
That's right.
It's like a house of cards.
That's right. Definitely. And what would you say, Tawanta, to the 20 to 30-year-old women in
Mm-hmm.
talking about what they'll reap, they'll reap what they invest. One of the things
Yeah.
that I would tell these young women, 20, 30 years old, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember hearing this in my 20s and I didn't listen, but I heard this and I'm going to repeat it again. I hope you guys who are in your 20s follow. Set a standard and don't compromise your standard.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mm-hmm.
you set a standard, and this
Mm-hmm.
can be in your life, relationship, business, career, whatever, you set a
Yeah.
standard and you get one red flag, you better exit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because one thing I know is true,
Mm-hmm.
all right, is
Mm-hmm.
people don't change. If they say things like, oh, I was young then, and they're going to alter and change that, no.
Yeah.
Uh-uh. Set a
Yeah.
standard, set a high standard, okay, set a high
Mm-hmm.
expectation and
Mm-hmm.
maintain that standard. Just like a corporation, I used to work for corporate, they had a standard and they did not minimize it for anybody. If you didn't fit that standard, you're out, or you
Mm-hmm.
will be in a different position. You got to
Mm.
have that in your life, in your business as well. You have to set a standard and keep that standard. If you see a red flag in people or opportunity situations, just say, hey, this not a
Yeah.
line, because what's going to happen is that those who are meant to work, be alongside you for the long term, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to make sure that they rise up to that standard. Or you're going to be with people who are going to match your standard. You're going to have a high standard, they're going to have a high standard. It's just going to be equally aligned.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
until just recently that I started to be around people who I'm equally aligned with.
Gotcha.
Okay, we may have different
Mhm.
values, different religious perspective, but as far as the mental alignment, it's there.
Mhm.
So if you get 20s, 30s, yes, what would you say to the 20, 30-year
I
old?
will say about be patient with yourself.
Yes, yes,
Please be patient with yourself. Because
yes.
again, going back to, again, you think you know everything
Mm-hmm.
and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and plus they, because you know the 20s and 30s, they see other people in their generation,
Right.
doing very well with their life.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they see them, in celebrity status via social media, of
Uh-huh.
course,
Mm-hmm.
or if not, they started their business and they're doing very well in that or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
and they get anxious. They were
Yeah.
like, well, I can do it, I can do this, I can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, but it still requires you to get some knowledge on that thing.
Yeah, it does, and that takes patience.
Exactly.
Because you're so right about being patient. Because they're like this. I see
Yes.
that in my kids. I'm like, calm, listen. You're
Yeah.
not going to get it like that. You got to
You're
just give
not.
yourself a moment to practice, study, and just and it.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. Yep. Right on point. And it's dangerous when you don't slow down. It's dangerous when you don't heed
Yes,
to
I wish I
wisdom.
slowed down in my 20s. I do. I
Yeah.
wish I slowed it down a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You wish you need to slow down
This
and listen
generation
to
is so
wisdom.
impulsive. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I quit. That's
Exactly.
it. I'm like,
Like, yeah, yeah. Get annoyed, get irritated, and
yeah,
all that stuff because
anxious.
somebody's just trying to tell you something, but you don't want to receive it, and you walk away. Trust me, I know, I know.
Yeah.
And after a while, you mess your own self up when you do that.
Yes, you
You
do.
mess your own stuff up when you do
You
that.
do.
So, just take the initiative of just taking one step at a time,
Yep.
receive the blessings that is given to you
Mhm.
daily of the people who's already been there, who
Yep.
have already strived to get there. And they still got
Yep.
ways to go. Because
Yeah.
just because you see them in that platform of success, that don't mean it's gonna be like that when they next 5 years from now.
No, it's not. It may not. They have to
You
shift
know,
things. That's life.
everything changes,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's going to require more patience, more
Yeah.
discipline. And
Uh,
some people who get to that platform of their life some of them, they don't want to learn. They
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, well, I
Yep.
got
They
it now,
stuck in
so
their
I know
ways.
how to,
What,
get to that
what the
next
Bible
level.
says, they call them stiff necked. The word says stiff necked people.
Yeah, stiff neck, hard headed,
Yeah.
callous.
Yeah.
They don't want to yield. They don't want to humble themselves.
Yeah.
They don't want to receive the good news and the warnings.
Yeah.
When it comes to business,
Yeah.
and even in point and take. Yes, there's this what's the name of this gospel group? Oh, I can't think of them right now. Oh my God! But it's their brother sister gospel group. And Kirk Franklin pretty much discovered them. So those of you who know Kirk Franklin, you know who I'm talking about, this young group. But the sister out of this group, she just posted a few days ago that she is quitting the gospel industry. She's not quitting, serving the Lord. She's just quitting the gospel industry because they are that dirty. The music business, and it's sad to say that you would think in the gospel ministry, in terms when it comes to the music industry, is okay, but you got some shady people in that business. And so she had actually said that on her YouTube video, because she's been in the game for a good minute. So she's not saying anything that she doesn't know. She is telling her side of her story, what she has encountered, what she has, invested, her and her siblings, and what they have worked hard, invested in, but they never got their money back. They never got their just rewards. They may got of course, they got the recognitions, they got the accolades, they got the rewards, or no, the awards, so to speak, but they, as far as the money, no, that went to corporate, or the company, that they signed their contracts to, right? So you really you got to be careful to jump ahead, on things that you see other people are doing. That's a dangerous thing to do, to be that naive, and just go because you like, well, I don't want to listen because I know I've been here before. No, this kind of game ain't nothing to play with. Y'all remember, of course, y'all know the group New Edition, right? And y'all remember some years ago, they had did, we call it a bio, well, it's not like a biography, but you remember they did a movie of themselves, and it was telling their story about how they got into the business. And a lot of people back in the day, because I grew up with New Edition, I had assumed too, just like everybody else did, that they were living large, that they were, doing well and everything. But the truth of the matter was, they were being robbed. They did not get their royalties. That money was going back into the pockets of those managers, to that company that they signed their life to, and they didn't get nothing out of that. That money, all of that money, I think they eventually got like $5,000 or something a piece, but that's all they pretty much got. They didn't get the millions of dollars that it was worth for them, that they work hard towards. And you saw what happened to them at that time, that they were broke. They were broke. So, those 20, 30-year-olds, you need to take your time, because there's people who want to get into that industry. They want to get into the recording business. They want to showcase their skills and everything. Some people prefer, well, actually, some are suggesting to be an independent artist, that you have complete rights for your own music. You be the producer, the writer, you be the management team, you promote yourself. Instead of having all these hands all up under your shirt. Okay, I'm not trying to be foul, but that's just pretty much how this business is. You need to do your own thing. So when the rewards come, it goes directly to you and not to those money gougers out there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really be smart. That's when it comes to investing, because investing, as Leticia had mentioned, is about time. You're going to invest a lot of time. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to cry a lot. You're going to pray a lot. But also you are going to hopefully receive the tools, the nuggets, or whatever from those persons who's been ahead, who's been ahead of you, and they can tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, what you
Yep.
should and should not do,
That's
whether
right.
it's in the profession of music, whether it's in business itself, you want to start your own online business or whatever, you need to listen and not jump ahead and not get the attitude saying that, well, I don't listen, I don't even listen to that. I don't even, that's old style. This is new.
So yeah, and it's a process, and you can't just skip
It is a
steps.
process.
Like it's almost like some people think they can just cut the line. Like, okay, I don't gotta go through this 7, 8, 9, 10 steps.
Yes. You can cut
I
through the red
I'm
tape, as
I'm
they
at
say.
step 20. Let me jump to step
Yeah.
55. No,
Yeah, yeah,
you gotta follow the steps. This is why
yeah.
sometimes people feel that they're behind. Maybe you feel that you're behind is because you thought you could skip. Maybe you thought you can,
Yes.
compound. And I know I do that sometimes. I'm like, I'm gonna get 2 hours of sleep, right? So I could work this or work that. No, you need your rest.
Right.
It's a
Right.
process. As long as you're consistent every day, as long as I'm showing up every day, as long as I'm doing my best, like I tell my kids, and that's it. But don't try to
Yeah.
skip
Yeah.
or I'm just gonna take a detour, right?
Mhm.
Because every
Mhm.
detour leads to
Mhm.
another detour. Detours
Mhm.
are distractions.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how many times I gotta say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Do we try to detour? It's a distraction. It is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So stay focused on
Mhm.
your path, your journey. If somebody
Mhm.
says, listen, you got to do step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way to step 50, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Because if
It's
you
good,
try to
yeah.
skip, if you get frustrated and stop or whatever, you are doing a disservice to yourself. Trust
Mhm.
me. Trust
Mhm.
me. Okay?
Yeah. You're not
Simple.
going to be the same person that, in the next 5 years. You may be 23 now, but when you turn 28, your whole concept will be a little different. It is. Even if you're 20 and then 10 years later you're 30, you're not going to think the same way when you were 20 years old. You are not going to think that
Girl,
way.
I'm living
Woo.
proof. You're not. And if you're 30 something, when you turn 40, whatever, you're gonna be a totally different woman.
Yeah,
People will
Lord.
be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna become
Yeah.
evolve. You're gonna evolve and be the person you want to be. I have to say that who I am today is way better than I was 10 years ago. It's like night and
Absolutely.
freaking day. And I'm so
Yeah.
happy for the jungle, the ups and downs, and all the things. I'm so
Mhm.
happy for that. But I'm telling
Mhm.
y'all, y'all 20s and 30s, y'all just like little newborn babies, when they all
It can-
fresh and new.
For
You know?
real.
Yeah.
Yes.
So y'all don't know a lot. You just
Yeah.
don't. You
And
don't.
another thing too that I've also been hearing, and it's okay if you are currently in college right now and you don't know where you see yourself right now. It's okay. Don't stress. Because a lot of times, being as though of course, I was a college student, but I also worked as an administrator. I've been around those students where they pretty much didn't know where they saw
They didn't
themselves.
know. You're just practicing right
You're
now.
just
You're just trying
practicing right
things
now.
out.
Yes.
This should be.
Don't
This should
stress.
feel amazing. Like you could try things out. You can mess up. You got so much time. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
you
saying?
do.
It's like,
Yeah, you
and
do.
that's one thing I would not do with my kids. Like people tell me all the time, you got to get them to decide what they want to do. No, I don't.
Yeah.
It's gonna come to them. And my daughter
They
knows what
will.
she wants to do. She wants to be a lawyer, but my son, he wants to try different things. It's like I'm not gonna make him be a doctor if that's not what he wants to do, or make
Yeah.
him do a
Right.
business if that's not what he wants to do. It'll come to him. He's still gonna go to college, but again, whatever he majors in, if he switches his major the second year, okay. I would
That's
rather.
fine.
I did this,
That's
it worked
fine.
out really well with my daughter because everybody was like telling my daughter to be a nurse or do science or whatever. And when she got into high school and she saw the law club, she's like, "Mom, I want to do law." I said, "Okay, let's do it."
Go for it.
And if you want to switch it in 11th grade, let's do that. Sometimes you just got to get your foot in the door with different things and see how it is. So that way you're not going off of the perspective of somebody else. And what I did tell her was this: people were telling her to be a nurse or this or that. I said, "Are those people nurses? Are they this?" She's like, "No." I said, "So why are you listening to them?"
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have not even put an IV in anybody to tell you, "Oh yeah, this is what you're supposed to do."
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no, that's
Yeah.
that's the worst person to listen
Yeah.
to, right?
Yeah.
The worst, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Take your time with that. Again, don't rush it. Again, invest the time, study,
Study.
read on these different avenues of where you have interest and it's not just for 20 and 30s, it's for anybody. It's for
Anybody,
anybody. It
anybody,
really
anybody,
is. Even
anyone.
for us retired stay-at-home moms
Yeah.
as well. By that time, I would say, I think it's fair to say by that time, whether you're in your mid 40s or if not your late 40s and early 50s,
Right.
by that time you pretty much will probably know what you want to do.
Yes, you will.
You
Yes, you
probably will
will.
already know. And if that's been in your spirit for quite some time, then you go ahead and do your research. You got to do
And
your
just go
research.
for it.
You go forward and make it happen and see what happens
And
from
you
there.
definitely know what you don't want. I think that's an
Yeah.
important too. Like you may know what you do want, but you're definitely gonna say, "Well, I definitely don't want to do that," or "I definitely
No.
don't want to be part of this anymore." Like
Yeah.
I feel like in my 40s now, I know verbatim what I don't want. Verbatim know what I do not
Yeah.
want, need, desire after, nothing.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
a make a don't list, y'all. Okay.
Yeah. That is the truth. Yeah. And that's not just talking about with career. That's talking about with people.
People, honey, you just know, you know.
Because you've been there, done that with people.
Hell to the nah, nah, nah. Okay. And thank God for it. Now you reach that realization. I thank God for it every single
Yes.
day. Lord, thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you,
Okay.
thank
So
you.
that's important too, because you
Yep.
come around the wrong people, child. All that what you invested, it can really go downhill because you
Yep.
got some people that could be real shady and they don't want to see
Yes, they
you
can.
succeed.
Yep.
So you definitely gotta, do your homework on that, right?
Yep.
So listen, y'all, this conclude our topic for tonight. So these were the 3 points that we wanted to share with you about the
Yep.
values of life is costly. So again, we may do a part 2 in the near future. Hopefully, because there's so much more to talk about when it comes to, the values of your life. And, we really, we're still evolving, we're still learning, and we're still growing, about ourselves. And you be proud of the milestones that you have already achieved. Be proud of yourself. Yeah, there may have been some hardships, some losses, some disappointments and stuff like that, but you survived, you're resilient, and you're much stronger and wiser. And so now it's time to just prepare yourself for the next season, because there's some new things in the horizon for you. And so you just need to go head forward and just see what are those blessings they're awaiting for you. Don't take those bad situations and allow that to bury you. No, just go ahead and say, well, you know what, I learned, it was good while I lasted, and all of that, but now it's time to move forward to something new. New relationships, new ventures, new opportunities, new connections. Get excited about those things. And I know it could be really intimidating sometimes, or even scary sometimes, right? But you have come a long way. You really don't have time to be a scaredy cat no more. after all you've been through, after all you've been through, yeah, it's just time to go ahead and take that big leap of faith and just go and just see how it works out for you. So we're gonna
But
move to our next
what's news?
what's news. I'm
Yes.
excited to share this one, but our what's news segment is opportunity where we showcase some things what people around the globe are doing. And we just want to put that spotlight out there to to let people see what they're doing, some phenomenal things from the youngest to the oldest. And so I have one that I had put out. Therese, you got it. Yes. Now, Leticia, girl, I think you're gonna like this one. Y'all.
What is this? Let's see. I didn't even check the what's news segment entry today, so I'm excited. I'm gonna be
Oh,
surprised.
cool. Well,
Oh, this is
this
your yeah. Go
girl
ahead.
here, this is a young, gorgeous.
Oh,
Oh my
she's
God.
so
Her
pretty.
business is called Hello Black Child.
Wow.
She is a HB, well, I don't know if she's HBCU grad, but she is a college graduate.
Uh-huh.
And she has her own business. She graduated with a business degree and everything. And she sells beautiful attire that represents beautiful black young ladies.
Oh wow.
This girl is so good. She is so good. Now, how I
What's
came
the
across,
item? What's the item? I mean, what she sell?
she sells a necklace, and I thought of your daughter. I thought of your daughter on that one, which it says "Hello Black Child." So she sells jewelry. She sells apparel.
Oh, pull it up, Trees. What her items? Because
Yeah, she
oh, okay.
sells.
Oh, I see this shirt. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those one of those what the kids wear
Please,
now, like the jogging. I won't say joggers, well, sweats, like the
sweats.
sweats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has that in a lot of colors. She has her own store.
Oh, okay.
This
This
is
is
how I came
nice.
across it
Oh, your
on
favorite
Facebook.
person.
Yes, Tabitha had purchased. She just posted this today. I just read that, but yeah,
Oh,
Tabitha
oh,
had just
wow, that's nice.
had ordered a few of her outfits,
Wow.
and she was wearing it for another event I think Tabitha was on,
Oh,
and the
wow.
young lady saw the text that she received, and she didn't believe at first it was coming from Tabitha Brown.
Wow. Oh, I'm glad she put them on. That's good.
Yes,
That's
and
what we need
so a
to
few
do. Let's
hours
support.
later she checked it again, and it would confirm that it was
Oh,
Tabitha.
they got little tote bags too. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
she got
nice.
tote bag, and these are her sister friends are the models. This girl, she promotes her brand. Everything. Listen, I'm telling you, Leticia, I was thinking about you when I
Oh,
put this
that
up
is cute.
because everything you have been teaching your clients or how to
Mhm.
get their business out, this girl's been doing it.
Wow, that's
She
good. That's
promotes
good.
it. And you Therese, if you can find her business page, if you can, love, and she has her own book as
Oh,
to how
wow.
to start your business.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Let me
Huge shout
find
out to
it.
her.
Girl,
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all following them for sure.
she is the bomb diggity.
That's good. That's
Okay.
good.
I Yeah, it's called let me move this out the way. Hold on. It's called The Coolest Business Ebook.
Oh, that's
There it
oh, I
is.
see. There it go.
There it is.
Wow, that's
I looked
dope.
at that and I was like,
That is
girl,
so catchy. And it's a digital book too. See, y'all don't need a physical book. See, there you go.
yes. Okay. Now, also, what I noticed about this beautiful baby doll is that she is pricing top tier.
That's
She's
good.
not dummied down on her
Yep.
on her
Don't
on her
don't do
products.
it. Don't do it.
This
That's
girl is serious business. She also has the coolest business call. So if
oh
you want to
wow.
talk to her, it's $150 per hour.
Damn. Go ahead, sister. Value your time. Value your time. Yes, because some people think just because it's black owned, it's
Yes.
supposed to be discounted or cheap. No.
Yes. Yes.
Charge your word, charge the quality according to what you're offering.
Yeah. So on the coolest business ebook, she has create a business name, get your
Uh-huh.
LLC.
Uh-huh. Wow.
This is a chapter. The next chapter is get your EIN number, get a commercial activities license.
That's right. You need
She
that.
talks about finding vendors,
Yep. Yep.
get funding,
Yep.
order samples,
Yep.
create price points, make a website on Shopify, interact with customers, deal with taxes and
It's
tax
worth it.
write-offs. This girl is giving you everything. And then she has at the bottom customers' reviews. It's all 5 stars.
Right.
Yes, all 5 stars. And you got the testimonials here at the bottom, all of that. But she goes on to have also, if you want to have a mentor, the coolest business mentorship, that's $500 for that. Okay, the coolest mentorship. And then of course she has the daydream set or her clothing item. She has this thing top tier, and I just love how she explains herself. She talks about herself in terms of how she got started. She started this in her dorm while she was in college. She started this while she was in college. And she what does she say here? She said, just a few months later, I launched Hello Black Child in June of 2020. That was during the pandemic, y'all. That was in June of 2020. She said she started with just t-shirts, lashes, necklaces, and earrings, and each were priced under $25 at that time. And she said 4 years later, which is last year, here I am. I have accumulated over $1 million in revenue and have sold to over 17,000 customers. Okay. She said, you don't believe me? Yeah, I'm not the type of person to flaunt receipts of my sales because she said, that's kind of, but she said, but you're going to have to trust me on this. She said, I have put my blood, sweat, and tears into this ebook. And she said, not literally, but most definitely, I've been writing it for the past year on and off, and a perfectionist, and I overthink very badly. So she's basically describing herself, how she put so much time in this book. But she said that she is definitely going to give you the real deal conversation about how to get your business started. She personally went to look for vendors herself. She has a video on her page of the people in Venezuela, I think, that was actually creating the prototype, which was the sweats that she has in her store. And so it was a lot of trial and error, as she said, but eventually they got it working and stuff like that. So I thought of you, girl, because I said this is exactly what Leticia's been preaching about to her clients, that everything that this young lady is doing, this is what Tisha has been talking about. And this girl is in her what? I don't know, 20,
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Just it's awesome that she's doing this, and she kicked it off. She got it started. Probably doing it scared. Just I want her to just keep this momentum, keep positive people. I mean, a lot of times when these businesses come, the back end is important, how the finances are being spent and things like that, which I'm pretty sure she has a lot of support with that. But congratulations to her. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is absolutely, and I'm glad Tabitha came across this person, and not just came across this person, but actually promoted it too, wore her product, posted it, gave the young lady her flowers. And like that's like aunt, that's I think of Tabitha like auntie, like that was like I know that girl sees Tabitha's like an auntie, like a business auntie or something
absolutely.
like that.
That's what she called her, Auntie Tab.
Yeah, Auntie Tab. Yeah. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Shout out to her.
And at that time when she got this order, she was already having doubts about herself.
Right.
And that's
but look at God.
And that happened. It happens. And that just kind of boosts her up a little bit more, because Tabitha ordered like several sets of the hoodies and the jackets and stuff from the sweatpants. So she has the black and I think the green, and it comes in all different colors and whatnot.
Yeah, it's beautiful, nice quality colors. And I'm gonna say this before we close out: when you have doubt about anything, guys, that means you're close to your destination.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when doubt comes in, keep pushing. When fear comes in, keep pushing. That means the devil knows you're right there. Now, if she had to quit and she could have deactivated her Instagram, she could have closed out her Shopify. Like all that takes a click of a button. Literally, you go there, click. It's not hard, right? Yeah. But she didn't do that. She stayed a little longer, and guess what? She got this order. So keep pushing, y'all, because when you get those moments of doubt, fear, all the things, and I'm saying this as I'm preaching this to myself. That means you're just one step closer. Every time somebody gets on your nerves, one step closer. Every time you hear bad news, you're one step closer. Just keep moving forward. Because I'm telling you right now, if she had to just let everything go, because she could have, and she's young, she just tried something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
She kept that. Now, guess what? Now that speeds up the success. Now that it makes her get over that hurdle. Not that there's not going to be other challenges, but at least now this is confirmation for her, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So, guys, support this beautiful young lady. Again, she is her own boss. She promotes it, she advertises, she does it all herself. And she has some of her friends. If you go on her Instagram page, we see some of them modeling, the merchandise and everything like that. So that's cool as well. But yeah, I really, and I'm following her right now on Instagram, because I love her determination. She already is a success. And I can't wait to see how things will work for her in the next several years from now, right? So this concludes our What's News, guys. I hope this really was a blessing to you and an inspiration. If you have a daughter or a niece or somebody that is also doing something on the side, hustle kind of situation, pass this on to them to get them some encouragement. Yeah, inspiration for them that they may want to start their business. Get that ebook. The ebook is not that expensive. Well, depending on your budget, but regardless, go ahead. That's an investment. That is an investment. Invest in getting that book, and you'll be blessed by her truth. All right.
Yes, make sure y'all grab it. It's like an instructional guide.
Yes, it
everybody
is.
needs to for a business, and most times you got to pay people. You think, okay, if the ebook's $25, you got to pay people a lot of money to even get advice on the LLC. So just go ahead and grab it, and it may give you some thoughts on what direction you go in or who you should be talking to. So yeah, definitely go grab it. Definitely go grab it.
For sure. So listen, y'all, we do have our Facebook page as well. If you are interested in joining our sister to sister connection, definitely go ahead and click on that. On that link. There's several questions for you to answer, which are really easy peasy questions. And then from there, we will go ahead and, check it out. And we definitely will let you into the family, right? But other than that, ladies, I hope you had a great time listening to, watching the show. Let us know your feedback on what you learned tonight. Again, what we put out here is not, based on professional opinions or anything. This is just our life, what we have experienced, what we have learned, and what we want to share to all of our sisters out there. Okay. Yeah. Anything else, Tish, before we go?
That is all for tonight. As always, this was an amazing topic. This month is Women's History Month. So yes, guys, participate in these summits or any things that come up that you can participate. This is our month, and then next month, and I know we're going to talk about this, probably upcoming weeks, Twonta. Next month is Financial Literacy Month, y'all. So definitely I want to do something for our sister to sister connection community for Financial Literacy Month. And thank you guys. Those of you who joined in live, those of you who came on a replay, we appreciate y'all for coming. And we'll see y'all next week. We'll definitely see, but join us in the group. Definitely join us in the group, ladies.
For sure. All right, guys. Have a good night. Take care.
Bye.